younger than my brother at the time. I mean, I'm 2.5 years younger than my brother now, but at the time it meant that my brother used to bully me quite a little bit. And so he knew that I had this weakness. I had my favorite 80 books of Goosebump books that I've collected over 5 years, no joke. And he would sometimes often like go into my room and rearrange them, or he'd like take a couple of them, or he'd some way or another mess up with them. And he knew that that really annoyed me. But one particular evening, I remember coming back home and seeing my brother steal 2 of my favorite Goosebump books. And it was that evening that the thought of studying abroad has first crossed my mind. Now, there are different accounts of what actually happened that evening, but seeing as my brother is not here with us today, let me tell you the true story. And the truth is that my brother's a little bit on the angry side. So when suddenly 2 of my books went flying from my shelf, without any force or push from me whatsoever, went flying from my shelf into the back of his head, I got a bit of a beating. But that was how you might ask yourself, how's that related to studying abroad? And the truth is that the only way that that's related is that those conflicts and those kind of fights that I used to have with my older brother were the thing that, first of all, gave me the thought of, hey, I could actually maybe go abroad and not have to deal with this. But nowadays, when I speak to guest speakers and lecturers and other people about studying abroad, the first thing that they say you should never ever do in your presentation is you should never start your presentation off with a graph. The first thing that I'd like to do today is start my presentation off with a graph. This graph may look boring, but it's the reason why I get so excited about studying abroad. And the truth is it's completely fake data, I made it up. But this graph is very important because it shows you a comparison of 4 types of students. It shows you a comparison of those students, of the ability of students to get a job upon graduation. It shows you a comparison of those students that do go abroad, of those students that do not go abroad, of very drunk students, and of apes. So if anything, this graph shows you that studying abroad has at least one benefit. But I'd like to tell you a little bit about my experience studying abroad in general and take you back to high school when I was growing up. I was growing up in a European country called Spain. And what happens when you grow up in Spain is that you know very well about 2 things. You know very well about your cheeses, and you know very well about your wines. But to be honest, you also realize that you don't really learn too much more about what's just within that one country. And so I was very fortunate to be in a great high school that gave me an opportunity to go and study abroad in Scotland. And I was really excited about Scotland because I knew nothing about Scotland. In fact, all I knew about Scotland were 3 things. I knew that their music tastes tend to be a bit peculiar. I knew that their men tend to dress in slightly unusual manners, not like the Spanish people. And I also knew, according to Scooby-Doo, that they tend to have monsters living in their lakes as well. So, and something that I did not actually know, something which a couple of you, if you're here from abroad, you would have realized very quickly, is that it tends to be quite gloomy here as well. However, nonetheless, I decided to come here for a year and move away from my brother, and so I took the plane to Scotland. I metaphorically jumped out with a parachute into the unknown, and I was very pleasantly surprised, first of all, because of the amazing, incredible scenery that exists here in Scotland. Something that a lot of you will know, and something that a lot of you might be able to find out as well. I was also very pleasantly surprised by the number of clubs and societies that exist at the university. At Glasgow Uni, there's everything from martial arts societies, to dancing societies, to public speaking courses, to swimming, to everything. And no joke, if you go on the Glasgow University website, and you look at the list of societies, and you go under the letter T, right in between Technology Society, and right in between the TEDx Society, you will find something that's called the Teddy Bear Hospital. No idea what that is, I never joined, never tried it. But nonetheless, you will also come across another thing if you study here or at any other similar university, and that is something called the Study Abroad program. Now, I remember asking myself something that a couple of you would be asking yourself already, or may be asking yourself in a couple of years' time as well, and that is, why would we go study abroad when we're already away from our homes, and where we're, for a lot of us, we're already abroad? I mean, my brother wasn't here anymore, so. And the reason, there's many different reasons, and I'm sure that everybody will find their own reason for studying abroad or for not studying abroad, but for me, it all came down to this. And no, it did not come down to a dot in a badly drawn circle, but it came down to what it represents. And that dot, in this case, is you. And I don't new places, that your comfort zone will grow, and that you will grow and develop as a person as well. And so that was my reason for coming and studying abroad in China. I went to study abroad in China for 1 year last year. I've just arrived back at the end of the last academic year. And I've actually, to be specific, I went to study in a place called Ningbo. Now, I guarantee that probably most of you would have not heard about this place. But for those of you who don't know, Scotland has a population of 5.3 million people. Ningbo, a very small town in the southeast coast of China, has a population of 7.6 million people. Welcome to China. But at this point, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my personal reasons for going and studying abroad. I know we've had a long list that was given to us. But for me personally, it all came down to three things why I went to study abroad. And the first one is what I like to refer to as the academics and the post-academics. Now, studying abroad gives you a chance to learn from a whole new range of teachers. It gives you a chance to learn in a whole new range of different methods, and it gives you a chance to learn different subjects that you would not be able to do at your home university as well. And so when you put all those three things together, you really learn new methods in which material is taught and in which material is assessed. And it is no surprise that most study abroad students that go back to their home countries, most of us do go back to our home countries, see that our grades do increase in our fourth year and our last year, that our grades do spark up and do increase quite a bit. The second one to do with academics is your diploma. And it is true that nowadays a diploma that says that, hey, this person has been to another country and has spent a year studying in a different place is worth more than a diploma that doesn't say that. And along the same lines, and along the lines of that graph that I showed you at the beginning, for your CV, it is true that employers nowadays are looking more and more for students that do take that extra step to go to other places and experience the culture. The second reason for me, and it was the places that I was able to see and the moments that I can remember. And it is incredibly awesome, the places that you can go and see when you study abroad and things that you will be able to have in your text message. And the places that you will be able to have in your bank of memories and pool of memories. Some of them you'll be really proud of, really excited about, and some of them maybe not so much. Nonetheless, the third reason for me why I decided to go study abroad was the people. And the people are incredible. You will get a chance to meet so many different groups of people, but I can guarantee that you will get a chance to make long-lasting friends, for one. You will most likely be able to meet people who will in the future be part of your career. And you may even be able to have a chance to meet a girlfriend, boyfriend, or partner when you're studying abroad. And if you don't believe me, then here's an article from The Independent that says that the Erasmus program alone last year was responsible for more than 1 million babies being born. So there you go. But I guess to summarize and to conclude and to finish up a little bit, I'd like to encourage all of you, the students in particular, that whatever you decide to do, whether you come to study here in Glasgow, whether you go to a different university, whenever you're making important decisions, try and look at your comfort zone, and don't try and make your decisions based on what is easy, what is familiar, and what is close by, but try and step outside of your comfort zone, because those are the places where you will grow and develop as a person. Thank you for listening.